Right, Algebra 1, we're back to talk about the next method of solving systems, and this is elimination. And I think most of you will probably end up preferring this method, but we're going to talk about elimination mode, and basically what it is we will eliminate or get rid of, one of the variables. Doesn't really matter which. You'll see which one is better for each situation, but we will eliminate one variable, then plug that variable back into the original equation to solve for the second variable. Okay. And again, just like everything, it's going to make more sense when we have more examples, but basically what we're going to be doing is these steps here, but I'm going to get rid of step. Actually, we're just going to write our own steps, so you can cross that out. Okay, so number 1 is still the same. Line them up. Okay, make sure they are lined up. Line them up. That's x's, the y's, the constants, and the equal sign. Okay, once they're lined up, make x or y opposites. Okay? Make x or y opposites. So for example, you could have 2 and -2, or -7 and +7. Okay, that would be a couple of examples. 2 and -2, 7 and -7, something like that. Number 3, add the equations together. So we're going to add down. Okay, so add down. Because when you do that, that's going to cancel out the one that's opposites. Okay, and so solve for that variable that remains, and then we're going to plug it back in. Plug back in to solve second variable. Okay, now this seems like more steps than the other one, but I promise once we see an example or 2 or 3 or 4, we'll kind of see that this is a pretty nice way to go. Okay, so for number 1, line them up. So if you look at this first one, the y's are lined up. I'm going to make that a little smaller actually. The y's are lined up, the equal signs are lined up, the x's and the constants are all lined up already, so we don't have to do anything there. We need opposites though, so make x or y opposite. So since this is since this is y and y, all I really have to do is make this opposite. So I'm going to multiply this by -1. Okay? And by doing that, it's going to be y and -y, opposites. So the top one stays the same. That's 3x plus 4. And then when I multiply this by the whole equation, I'm pretty much just distributing. That's -y equals -x and +2. And now I'm going to go ahead and add these two together. Okay? So what happens is the one that's opposite cancels out. which is what we want. So y minus y is 0 equals 3 plus negative 1 is 2x. Then 4 plus 2 is 6. And then I just solve for what's left. Okay? So I subtract 6. I get negative 6 equals 2x. Divide by 2. Get x equals negative 3. Now I just take that and plug it back into one of the originals. Okay, so I'm just going to plug it back into this bottom one, which is going to be y equals x minus 2, which is negative 3 minus 2. So y equals negative 5. And so just like before, our final answer is x comma y, which is negative 3, negative 5. Okay. Now for this particular example, since the y's were by themselves, I would actually probably do substitution in that case. But they were all lined up, and that's fine. But what you'll see on the next one is this one's a little nicer. Okay, so we're going to skip to number 3. So if you look at these, 9 and 10 aren't opposites, but these are almost opposites. Okay, 3 and 3. So I'm going to go ahead and make this one change signs. Okay, so I'm going to multiply by negative 1. Okay, and so this top one stays the same. 3x minus 10y equals 14. Then the bottom one is going to be negative 3x plus 9y equals negative 15. And now we go ahead and add them together again. So when I do that, the x's cancel. But I don't need to write 0 this time because it's not the only thing over there. So the x's cancel. Negative 10 plus 9 is negative 1y equals 14 plus negative 15 is negative 1. And I divide by negative 1. Easy peasy. Y equals 1. And there we go. Then I plug that back into one of the equations. And again, it doesn't really matter which one, but I'm going to go ahead and plug it into the bottom one. So that's 3 times x minus 9 times 1 equals 15. And then I just solve. So that's 9. 3x minus 9 equals 15. Then I add 9 to get 3x equals 24. Then I divide by 3. I get x equals 8. And so once again, x comma y, 8 comma 1 is my final answer. So I'm eliminating one of the variables first and then go ahead and solve for the one that's left over. Okay? So I'm going to leave 2 and 4 blank for now. Okay, if you need to pause or rewind, go ahead and do so. But now we're going to go to the back side. So number 5. This one's nice because look, these aren't opposites, but these are. The x's are already opposite, so I don't have to change anything about this. I can go ahead and add right away because the x's cancel, and that's all I want to do is cancel x or y. So 9 plus 7 for the y's is going to be 16y equals 5 plus 11 is also 16. Divide by 16, I get y equals 1. And then I need to plug that back in to one of these. I'm going to choose the top one. So 4 times x plus 9 times y, so 1, equals 5. So that's 9. 4x plus 9 equals 5, and then I solve. Subtract 9. 4x equals negative 4. Divide by 4 to both sides. X equals negative 1. So x comma y is negative 1, 1. Excuse me. Okay. And so let's do one more, and then I'll give you a few for homework here. Okay. So for number 7, again, look at what you have. X and 3x, not opposites. Y and negative y, already opposites. So again, I don't need to change anything here. I can just go ahead and add. The y's cancel. 1 plus 3 is 4x equals 28. Divide by 4. X equals 7. So I plug x back into one of those. So I'm going to pick the top one because it looks pretty easy. And I've got x minus y is going to be 7 minus y equals 10. Subtract 7. I've got negative y equals 3 divided by negative 1. Y equals negative 3. And there's my answer. So x comma y, 7 comma negative 3. Final answer. Okay? So for homework, you're going to go ahead and do those evens that we didn't do. Homework is just numbers 2, 4, and 6. Okay? So numbers 2, 4, and 6. Number 6, already opposites, nothing to do. Number 2, you're going to have to probably multiply one of them by negative 1 to get x's to be opposite. And then here, multiply 1 by negative 1 again to make 2 and negative 2. Okay, so 2, 4, and 6 are your homework. And we should be back at it tomorrow for putting it all together. Peace.